What's My Line? Brought to you by Geritol, the high-potency vitamin iron-rich tonic in liquid or tablets to help you feel stronger. And now, let's all play What's My Line? And now, from New York, let's meet our What's My Line panel. First, the delightful star of stage and television, Miss Arlene Francis.
Thank you. And I am very proud to introduce our visiting panelist tonight. First, because he represents me in Congress. And secondly, because he has such a marvelous record. And thirdly, because I have the privilege of sitting next to him, our Congressman from New York, John Lindsay.
Good evening. On my left, my friend and my constituent, the incomparable Dorothy Kilgallen.
He's really a movie star. And on my left, another constituent in the same district, our lovable Bennett Cerf.
You may have heard John Daly once or twice mention the fact that he went to school at Tilton, New Hampshire. He's about the only New Hampshire man I know who isn't working in the primaries up there. Here he is, from New York, John Charles Daly.
Well, I must say, Mr. Congressman, it's very nice to see you on the panel. And I trust that you find the exchange in this investigation for the next half hour interesting to you.
Thank you, John.
And we've got some very interesting occupations. We will also have a famous mystery challenger before my friends on the panel a little bit later in the show. And we'll hear from our first contestant after this word from Ted Mack speaking for Geritol.
You know, if we had a panel of experts on health here, they could tell you that if you take vitamins and you still feel tired, your trouble may be due to iron-poor blood. For it's a medical fact that vitamins alone can't build up iron-poor blood. But Geritol can, because just 2 Geritol tablets or 2 tablespoons of Geritol liquid contain 7 vitamins plus twice the iron in a whole pound of calf's liver. In only 1 day, Geritol iron is in your bloodstream carrying strength and energy to every part of your body. You check with your doctor, and if you've been feeling tired and run down because of iron-poor blood, you simply take Geritol every day, and you will feel stronger fast. In just 7 days, or your money back from the Geritol folks.
And now to meet our first contestant. Will you enter and sign in, please? Paul B. Keenan. Right, sir? All right. Mr. Keenan, where are you from?
Washington, D.C.
Washington, D.C. Right. Well, we have a commuter from Washington, D.C. with us on the panel tonight. May I present our panel? Keenan, you join me over here, and we'll let the audience in the theater and the audience at home know exactly what your line is. Tell you that Mr. Keenan is salaried, that he deals in a service, and we'll begin the general questioning with Arlene Francis.
Well, Mr. Keenan, since you're from Washington, do I dare guess that you work for a non-profit-making organization?
Yes.
Is it a branch of the government?
Yes.
Do you come in contact with people in your position?
Yes.
Do they come to you?
Yes.
Are you appointed to office?
No.
Now, are
Or are you appointed to whatever job you have, rather than being elected to it.
That's, I mean, if your comparison here is between an elective
Yes.
office and another office in government, we would agree that this is not an elective office.
Right.
You go ahead, Arlene.
Do you work in or around the White House?
No.
1 down and 9 to go. Representative Lindsay.
Is your employment in the executive branch of the federal government?
No.
Just a moment. Small count. Yes, Mr. Lindsay.
Is the service in which you are engaged one that is useful to a great many people in the United States?
Yes, indeed.
Does this service require you to report to superiors?
Yes.
I would say here, sir, that Mr. Keenan reports to superiors as anyone normally would who was in a chain of command performing a function which was a necessary function to the general operations of a department or division or some other organization of office.
Does your service have anything to do with health, education, or welfare?
No.
No, that's 2 down and 8 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Mr. Keenan, are you now or have you ever been connected with the military or naval branch of our government?
As a part of his current work, or do you mean in personal service too, Dorothy?
In personal service will do.
I mean, you're asking...
I'm probing into his background, hoping that will be a
background.
clue.
Have you done any military service? Keenan?
I've been in the service.
Well, that's fine. Mr. Keenan's been
But
in the
may I
service.
assume that you are not now engaged in any military
I am not
service?
now. Right.
Does your work, can you do your work without wearing a uniform of any kind?
No.
That makes it 3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Mr. Keenan, does your work bring you anywhere near the Senate or building, or the building of the Senate or the House?
No.
4 down and 6 to go, Miss Francis.
Mr. Keenan, do you have anything to do with transportation or communication?
No.
Well, now, we'd have to have another conference on that. I think we would have to agree, Mr. Keenan, that in one area there that was mentioned, you have some sort of a relationship with one of those areas, in a manner of speaking, wouldn't you say so?
Yes.
Yes,
All right.
all right, Miss
All right.
Francis.
Yes.
Is it the area of communication?
No,
Oh, I
that's
knew
5
it.
down and 5 to go, Mr. Lindsay.
Mr. Keenan, does your work have anything to do with the government of the District of Columbia?
No.
No. 6 down and 4 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Is it the federal government?
Yes.
You wear a uniform for the federal government. Any ideas? Do you ever work out of doors?
Yes.
Do you frequently work out of doors?
Yes.
Do you have anything to do with anything other than people?
Well, I would say that in the normal functioning in his responsibilities, that he would have something to do with something other than people, yes.
Do you have anything to do with animals?
No.
No, that's 7 down and 3 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Mr. Keenan, I believe we established the fact that you had something to do with transportation. Is that not correct?
We would have to agree
In
that
a way.
Mr. Keenan has something to do
In a
with
way.
transportation, yes.
Would this transportation include any time anything to do with airplanes or the like?
No.
No. 8 down and 2 to go, Miss Francis.
May I guess that you transport something other than people?
No. 9 down and 1 to go, Representative Lindsay.
Do you have something to do with law enforcement?
No.
No. 10 down and no more to
Is
go.
he in the subway?
No.
No.
And where's
I meant the Senate subway.
The Senate subway?
I answered
Oh,
that. Anything to do with
excuse
this? That's what I said.
How about a guide and elevator operator in the Washington Monument? 555 feet straight up. And to explain further, Mr. Keenan is with the National Park Service, which is in the Department of Interior, and wears a park ranger's uniform. Is that right?
That's
When
correct.
he's on duty at the the Washington Monument, he wears the park ranger's uniform.
Well, we all have our ups and downs, Mr. Keenan.
I was afraid he'd say it.
Nice going, Mr. Keenan. You were right. Thanks. Nice
Thank
to
you,
have you.
sir.
What's my luck? Now meet our next challenger. Will you enter and sign in, please? Suzanne Zivanuch. Is that right? Is it Miss or Mrs. Zivanuch? Miss Zivanuch, and where are you from, ma'am?
St. Charles, Missouri.
St. Charles, Missouri. Nice to have you with us. Miss Zivanuch, may I present our panel? Now, would you join me over here? And we'll let the audience at home and the audience in the theater know exactly what your line is. All right. Panel, we can tell you that Miss Zivanuch is salaried, deals in a product, and we'll begin the general questioning. Actually, I've got to put Bennett to work, and I think this is the night. Bennett's going to leave us for 3 weeks. You're going to Brazil and Venezuela and Puerto Rico.
That's right.
Going down to Brasilia. Well, let's see, we can't work you before you go so that you'll need the rest that I hope you're
need
ready
it
to
now.
get. You need the rest now. Well, suppose you start the questioning, Bennett.
All right, Mr. Bonnet. You deal in a product.
Yes, I do.
Is it a useful product? Mr.
Yes.
Bonnet? Is it a product that all four of us on the panel might use?
Yes.
If we used it, would it be in the house?
Yes.
Would it be visible in the house when visitors came to call?
Yes.
It could be. Now, this is not to say it would be at all times, Bennett, but we would assume that if the product was in use at a time when visitors came to call, that it would likely be in view. Would you agree, Miss? Savannah?
Yeah.
Mr. Bonnet, is it a product that is not consumed?
No.
No. That's one down and
I
nine
asked
to
it the
go.
wrong way.
Brasilia, here he comes. Miss Francis?
Miss Zivanuch, is it a product that is liquid rather than solid?
Yes.
Does it contain any spirits?
Yes.
It does?
Uh-huh.
No wonder you look so jolly in your work. Is it does it have anything to do with the grape?
No.
No. That's 2 down and 8 to go. Representative Lindsay.
Miss Bonnet, is this a liquid that I might enjoy?
Yes.
Is it one that would be more likely to be consumed at one part of the day rather than another part of the day?
Yes.
Is it, can it be used in a cocktail?
No.
It could be, but I don't think anybody like it very much. 3 down and 7 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Miss Zivanuch, is there any malt or hops in this product?
Yes.
Is it beer?
Yes, it is.
You have something to do with beer.
Yes.
You are a beer taster?
Well, that's close. Change your vowel.
Toaster.
Change another vowel. Change another. Tester is right. And you know, one thing about our Sunday night meetings, you keep on learning so many things. Actually, Miss Zivanuch is a graduate microbiologist. This is a complex world we live in, and
Yeah.
she has test tubes, and all the testing is a very complex scientific process. She tells me she also is allowed to taste it occasionally, though, so that there are...
What's the name of the
complex-
beer, John?
It's Miss Zivanuch with the Falstaff Brewing Company.
That's the one you have if you're not having more than one. No reflection on Falstaff. I didn't mean that.
It's just a reverse coin. Well, I'm sorry we didn't give them a little bit of a harder time, but I think at least we got them off the ground. If we gave Bennett a good start off towards Brazil. Didn't we? Thank you very much, Mrs. Nice to meet you. We'll meet tonight's mystery guest in just a moment after this message.
Change your pace, Smoke. Robert Burns Cigarillos. Robert Burns Cigarillos. Robert Burns Cigarillos.
Burn cigarillo for the movers. Neat, easy draw for men on the move. Smoke it. You'll look good with it.
And now the special feature of our program, the appearance of our mystery challenger, for which, as you know, our panel is always blindfolded. Are the blindfolds all in place, panel?
Yes, sir.
Good. Will you enter mystery challenger and sign in, please? As you know, the different form of questioning this time, one question at a time, moving in turn clockwise, and we'll begin with Dorothy Kilgallen.
Are you an actor or actress? What?
Actor! Actor, Mr. Cerf.
Are you in a play that is at present on Broadway or about to come to Broadway?
Yes. Miss Francis?
Is it a musical?
Yes.
Lindsay.
Have you been in production for the last 6 months?
Have you ever been a member of this panel?
No!
Sir. Did you ever sing a song about chopping down woodmen, chopping down a tree? I haven't heard the answer.
Yes.
Is it Bert Lahr?
Bert Lahr.
Well, at least I won by one question.
But the thing is, you might as well try to, as well to disguise the night as to disguise the
You can't disguise it. And John, I must say that I have been to see Foxy, and it is the most brilliantly witty performance in town. Yours is.
Well, thank you.
As Foxy. You're just sensational.
Thank you. Thank you, Frank. Arlene, rather.
Can I add a word to that, John? Bert, I saw for about the 19th time The Wizard of Oz the other night, and your performance as the Cowardly Lion, I think, is one of the greatest that's ever been done in Hollywood. And I compliment you on
Well, thank you.
I could use some lessons if you care to give them to me.
I must say, history is just repeating itself. Arlene has already told you that Foxy opened, I believe, last Sunday.
At the Ziegfeld Theater.
At the Ziegfeld Theater.
Arlene.
Yes, I saw it.
I think
Saturday.
very rarely in theatrical history has a star received the notices that Bert did. It was unanimous, and the praise just poured out of their typewriters and onto the newspaper. You should be very proud of
Bert.
that.
No, I am. It was most gratifying.
I
Very
wish you
happy
could
about
just remember that I laughed so hard that I didn't quite get the couplet about the Firth of Forth or the Fourth of Firth. Now, what is that?
Well, it was, let me see now. Manchester and Dorchester and Chichester and Perth, sailing on the Firth of Forth. Or is it Forth of Firth? Well, that's Johnny Mercer special. He wrote the song.
Wonderful lyrics.
Brilliant number.
We had Johnny with us not too long ago.
Wonderful fellow.
Actually, I think the folks, perhaps New Yorkers would be more familiar with it, but out of town they may not know. It's based on Ben Jonson's Volpone.
Volpone, yes.
Which is an old classic.
The locale is the Dawson City during the gold rush. That was the turn of the century, 1898. And I'm very happy with it. In fact, it's one of the funniest shows I've ever done. And it's a show that I can't wait to get to every night. It's a lot of fun for me.
Well, that's a great accolade. That's a great... Wonderful to have you
Thank
back
you,
on
John.
Broadway, and bless you for giving us a part of your Sunday night to come and be on What's My Line. It's
Thank
good
you,
to see you. got to admit that on balance, you've done very well so far tonight, panel, and are duly accorded some congratulations. We'll have another contestant after this word from our alternate sponsor.
Hi, this is Dennis James. You won't find it in any cookbook. But of course, there is a recipe for making Kellogg's cornflakes. When I was up at the Kellogg's kitchens, I asked about it. It is still a secret. But they told me this, that anybody can make a bowl full of Kellogg's cornflakes because this is one of the original instant foods. All you do is add milk. Now, of course, you can add a little sugar, too, if you like. Everything else, though, is all ready, even your appetite when you see them like this. Maybe it's all that summer sunshine, the corn stored up, but they sure look fresh and crisp, and they fire you up these mornings. So how about it? The best to you tomorrow, okay? Okay.
And now to meet another contestant. Will you enter and sign in, please? Thomas Lindsay. Right, sir? All right. Mr. Lindsay, where are you from, sir?
New York City.
New York City. Fine. Nice to have a neighbor aboard. May I present the panel? Mr. Lindsay, will you join me over here, and we'll let the audience at home and the audience in the theater know exactly what your line is. Panel, we can tell you that Mr. Lindsay is salaried and deals in a service, and we'll begin the general questioning with Representative Lindsay.
You look like one of my colleagues in the Congress.
Which one?
Well.
Did you say that Mr. Lindsay is in service or deals in a product?
He deals in a service.
Service.
Yeah.
Is this a service which is generally used by people?
Yes.
Would it be useful to me?
Well, we would have to agree that it's a service which you could find useful at one time or another, wouldn't you say?
Yes. Would it be useful to my wife as well as to me?
Yes, it would be. I think she'd have pretty much the same attitude about the service.
Do you work for a profit-making corporation or organization?
No. That's 1 down and 9 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Is this service something that a great many people only have use for once or twice or a few times in their life?
Yes. Yes.
Does it have anything to do with the holy state of matrimony?
Yes.
Well, since there's no product, you can't be a wedding ring seller. Do you actually perform services, perform marriages?
Yes.
Are you a justice of the peace?
No. No, that's 2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Mr. Lindsay, I guess this with leap year day coming along, do you have something to do with the bureau where people apply to get married downtown?
Yes.
Are you the fellow who does the hitching job?
Yes. Actually, I think we've got to throw them all over because you have it right. Mr. Lindsay is the head of the Marriage License Bureau. As the head of the Marriage License Bureau, something I did not know, Dorothy, he is authorized by law to perform marriages.
Mm-hmm. Well, they have a new little room down there, don't they, that's much more cheerful than the one they used to have.
Mr. Lindsay, don't you ever go home with a heavy feeling of guilt?
Here is a man leaving tomorrow for Brazil, Venezuela, and Puerto Rico on his vacation with Phyllis, his good, dear, lovely wife. He may never get back. May never get back.
Does it still cost $2 for a license? No, it's $4 now, Congressman.
Oh, you've been married a long time.
I guess I probably wasn't really fair to you, though, Representative Lindsay, because you'd used the service, and I knew it, but I didn't want to say a flat no to that. You said, could I use the service? So I had to try to hedge it a bit, and that probably threw you off.
Use it for a friend.
Use it for a friend.
Only once.
Only once. But it is the thing that interests me is how many years have you been doing this?
13, John.
And how many marriages have you presided over? Not just issued license, but how many ceremonies have you performed?
About 50,000.
Do any of them come back to try and get even with you? Mr. Lindsay, because of it being leap year, have you... Leap year. Have you found that there are more now, that the girls are bringing the boys in more easily?
We are going up quite a bit in the marriages, yes.
I've always brought the boys
What do you attribute this to? Do you notice that the men are fully in command of their faculties? Do they appear not to have been doped or anything like that?
At most times, yes.
They're coming in willingly.
Yes.
But in greater numbers.
Yes, they are, John.
But scared to death. But scared to death. That's the next question I was going to ask, John. If they were really
Sometimes the girls are
scared to
scared
be
to
scared to
death.
death.
They certainly do.
They all do. Do the girls seem to be scared to death?
No, they seem quite...
You have a feeling that the girls might have planned this, but the men just found out about it, that sort of thing?
Oh, I think it's well planned.
Well, thanks very much for coming to join us, and it was fun to meet you. And the double man is married 50 years. Actually, that's an appointive office, by the way, just in case anybody had a question. He's appointed by the city clerk of New York. And now to do something that I should do more often, perhaps some of you at home or some in our audience here in the theater would like to apply to puzzle the panel with your particular occupation, and the process is a very simple one. Send in a snapshot that you can spare, because it's impossible to return them. There's so much mail coming in. Send a snapshot, your name, and your occupation, and send all of this to What's My Line, CBS, 485 Madison Avenue, New York 22, New York. That's What's My Line, CBS, 485 Madison Avenue, New York 10022. That's the zip number, New York. And on that 1002222, good night, Arlene Francis.
Good night, John. And, sir, I just want you to know how secure I feel knowing that you represent me. Good night. It's been a great pleasure.
Good night, Dorothy.
Good night, John.
I want you to know how much I appreciate representing you in Congress and
Thank
every
you.
member of this panel.
I appreciate it too, John. Thank you. Good night, Ben, and have a wonderful trip.
Thank you. I want to predict you're going to see Lindsay in the governor's chair up at Albany one of these days. Remember what I said.
I'm taking it all down.
Good night, John.
Good night, Bennett. Have a wonderful trip, and thank you for being with us on What's My Line.
What's My Line is a CBS television network production in association with Mark Goodson and Bill Totten. This is Johnny Olson speaking.
When you sometimes can't sleep, but you're afraid to take a sleeping aid because you think it might be habit-forming, here's good news. You can take Somonex with confidence, for it contains no habit-forming drugs of any kind. Taken as directed, Somonex is truly safe.
Take Somonex tonight and sleep. Safe and restful sleep. Sleep, sleep.
Somonex is absolutely not habit-forming.
What's My Line? Brought to you by Geritol, the high-potency vitamin iron-rich tonic in liquid or tablet to help you feel stronger. The makers of Geritol also bring you Ted Mack and the original Amateur Hour earlier Sunday on most of these same stations.
Come along quietly.